In this video, I'm going to show you how to set the ignition timing on this Mazda MX-5. Aside from a few basic hand tools, we're going to need a timing light and a little piece of wire. I put a couple of small spade terminals on, but you don't have to do that. I think it's better if you do, but if you don't have the means to do it, you can just use a piece of wire, and I'll show you why you need that now in a second. Before we go any further, we need to make sure the idle speed is set to 850 RPM. If it isn't adjusted correctly, you can adjust it with the screw here on the throttle body. I'm going to start by taking the inlet pipe out of the way here. I've loosened the screws on the clamps, so we just get that manipulated out of here. Looking down at the crankshaft pulley, you can see the graduations here that we're going to be using for setting the timing. So the first one here says T, and then you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then it's 12 and 14. So we're going to go to 14 here on this. So there will be a notch that you need to line up on the pulley as well, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a paint marker to clarify that mark. Now you don't need to do that, but it certainly makes life a little bit easier when you're using your timing light. So you can now see, looking down at the pulley there, that the engine is more or less at top dead centre. There is a small notch on the outer rim of the crankshaft pulley that you're looking for, and I would suggest you highlight that mark to make life a lot easier for yourself. Now we're going to open our diagnostic socket, and we are going to use a little piece of wire to bridge the 10 and ground terminals. So we're going to put one end of our wire here and the other over here. So now we are ready to start looking at the timing. Adjustment to the ignition timing is made by turning the camshaft position sensor down here. What we need to do is we need to take off this bracket here that's holding the wire, and then there are 2 bolts which we loosen on either side, and there is another bolt at the back which is in a slotted hole, and we're going to loosen that as well. So I'm going to just get that done now. They're 12mm. The bracket for the coil pack is kind of in the way. I think I might actually just disconnect the other, or take the other bolt out for the coil pack, and that will allow me to move it. Give us a bit more working room here. Taking the coil pack out is not a big job. There is supposed to be a third bolt in it, but this car doesn't have the third bolt. So, which is fine by me actually in this instance. So now we can loosen off that one there. And now we're going to get our last bolt, which has the slotted hole down the back. I'm going to loosen that as well. So now I'm going to get my timing light connected up. The pickup will go on number 1 cylinder HT lead. Just make sure you have the arrow pointing towards the spark plug. That'll go there. And now we have negative can be on the lifting eye for the engine, or ground even. And positive can be on, there's a blue plug over here down beside the diagnostic port, and there's a single spade terminal in there. That'll be our positive. So now let's get the engine fired up and see how we're looking and see how close we are to the mark. Is it that far out? So we have an issue here where the engine won't actually start now. So I wonder, is that just because I got the bolts taken out of the coil pack? It's because maybe one of them is offering grounding. Could be that. Get the bolt back in. Okay. It seems because I took the inlet off. Yeah. Anyway, had to put that pipe back on. Just makes it a bit more awkward, but let's get our timing light connected back up and see how we're looking. Miles off. Okay. So I've just got that tightened up there now, the cam angle sensor. So I'm going to just check the timing mark now and see how we're looking. Not far off the mark. I'm going to just fine tune it a little bit now. Okay, the engine is sounding an awful lot better now, I have to say. The timing was a mile out on it. So I'm going to take it for a short spin now and see how it's driving. But yeah, I think that's made a big difference, and it's something that's well worth checking on your Mazda MX-5 as well, because it doesn't really take a whole lot of effort, and if you can borrow, beg or steal a timing light, then yeah, get it done. So now I just need to take that jumper wire out of the diagnostic port. So that basically gives the engine back the control of the timing. Just get our tools and everything out of the way. And tighten up that intake as well. And whatever you do, don't forget to tighten up your cam angle sensor bolts that you loosened. Let's go for a drive. Being that it was so far out, it cannot possibly have not made a difference. So let's take it off for a burn down the road. Wow. Oh my god, that is such a difference. The throttle response is incredible compared to the way it was. Happy days. Alright folks, I hope you got a bit from this video, and if you have any questions or comments or observations or whatever, stick them in the comments below. I'm always happy to hear them, and it's great to have you guys along. Thanks very much for watching. I'll chat to you soon. Woohoo! This car's driving great.